Hello and welcome to It's Raining Let's Draw. If you're not already a subscriber, remember to hit the subscribe button here in the bottom. If you're into drawing wisdom, fun drawing exercises, drawing tips and many more things drawing related. Also make sure to check out my video where are around 400 subscriptions, and in this video I do a giveaway and you have the chance to win an original lino cut I made recently. In today's episode I am going to be drawing and painting as much as I can an airplane in the style of Miyazaki or Studio Ghibli. I'm a big fan of Studio Ghibli's work, and especially the film Porco Rosso and The Wind Rises. In these two films you can really tell that Miyazaki's fascination of airplanes shine through, and especially old planes, biplanes with two wings attached to them. And I find these machines quite beautiful, and I want to try to kind of see what I can learn from drawing in the style of Studio Ghibli. Here I have the sketch of the plane that I'll be drawing and painting. I found inspiration online of a plane called a Hawker Dantorp. So let's get to it. We'll jump over to my screen here in Photoshop and draw and paint this beautiful old biplane in the style of Studio Ghibli or Miyazaki. So here we have the sketch of the airplane. I just used a scanner to scan this drawing in. And from here on it's basically following the lines here because we have perspective down, and it always feels good to have a really worked through sketch ready when and then doing the fine line work here afterwards. I just go ahead here and make the opacity to 30% so that I can actually see where the line art is going. In Studio Ghibli's films, they always tend to use this quite thick silhouette black line here for the objects and for the characters. It's quite classical to use this kind of line for cartoons, and I'll go ahead and do the same thing to kind of imitate the style of Studio Ghibli. I'm using a regular round hard brush in Photoshop, and the pixel size is 2. From here on it's basically just following the lines of the sketch here. And I should remember to say that I have the function called smoothing set here in Photoshop. And this is a really great function because without smoothing I would have some trouble by creating these smooth lines here. Here at the engine, I freestyle a little bit. I just basically invent this kind of pattern here on the spot, just because I think it would be quite fun to have these wavy things here at the engine going down and up. Add some character to the thing. Again, another detail here. I thought it would be fun to add these repaired areas here of the plane. I'm imagining that this plane has seen some battle maybe, or it's just old and then it's been fixed and patched up here and there. I think it also adds some character to the design. And I know that Miyazaki is very detailed about these details here on objects he draws, such as planes or cars or whatever architecture. And I put in some details here to add that character. And there we are. We are now finished doing the line art of the biplane, and let's just enjoy that design here. I really love the way the line art is so simple, and now it's the fun part really. Now it's the painting. Okay, so first off, choosing a color. I don't know why, but I think something tells me that yellow, or maybe a greenish yellow here, would be kind of interesting to choose. So I'm going with that gut feeling. Again, I'm using a simple round brush here to plot in the color. I think these supporting poles here are also quite fascinating and beautiful, because it's just really it's just so functional to have these poles here that makes these two wings work really. Like they're really just connecting the plane, but the architecture, how they are distributed on the plane to give it maximum, I don't know, aerodynamics or something like that, is those small details that gives the plane life really. And I'm gonna go ahead and choose a green color for these ones to give it some contrast here to the yellow. Shading. Shading is really an important detail of hitting that style of Studio Ghibli. If you watch their cartoons, you can always see that there's a shade going on either on characters or on objects. So of course this plane has to have some shade as well. I'm just choosing a gray tone here, and I have my layer as multiply here, so that the gray tone of the shade here will automatically blend into the tone of the yellow. So it will be a dark yellowish tone. I'm imagining light coming from the front of the plane, so that the sun is somewhere in front of the plane. And this means that we have some shade coming on the sides of the plane here. And then we of course have shade coming from the top wing onto the bottom wing. And I think this adds a kind of dramatic feeling to it. So now we have the shade down. We need also to have some highlight here and there. I think I'm going to go ahead and add some highlight here on the plane. by choosing an almost white, it's a bit of yellowish but almost white color here for the highlights. And this is the surfaces that really has sun hitting on them, so that's the reason why they're called highlight. This is just the tipping points of the surface where the sun is really hitting directly, so these needs to have some highlight on them. I'm putting in some highlight here as well as on the middle here and on the engine, of course. And then the propeller. Notice that the propeller here is not exactly round, it's more like an oval. This is due to the perspective. I start by adding some white here, and because this propeller is moving, it's moving very fastly, we have to give it a sense of this motion by just creating some white lines which follows the curve of this oval. And then we're gonna have some green circling on from the outside to the inside, because the green color kind of reflects the middle part of the propeller here. So we have some sense that this machine here is going fast, it's up in the air and the propeller is running. I also go ahead and delete some in the top and some at the bottom here, because this propeller is going so fast that our eyes can only catch up so much of the tone here. So now we really have a sense of that motion. Now Miyazaki's and Studio Ghibli's work is always full of details, not only in characters and objects such as planes or cars, but also in the beautiful background art. And the Japanese artists are just amazing at creating backgrounds. I'll try to do my best here, and I wanted to keep it simple, so I'm going for a quite simple blue sky with a bit of clouds here and there. So first of all, I'm choosing this blue color here to fill up the background. This will be my base tone for the sky. And look here what happens when I turn it on before I take it back as a background. It becomes a night scene. It's also quite beautiful here. But we want it to be behind the plane here. We want it to be daylight. So here we have a blue tone. I then go ahead and pick up a brush called Noise Fast, and it's from Carl's Megapack I'm using here. And I'm just choosing a slightly more light blue here, and then it's just really just putting in some tone here and there, and then all of a sudden you have this sense of a cloudy area in the sky. I think this brush would also be very suitable for creating waterfalls, for instance, or water in general, and fog. So if you're a background artist, this is a good tip for you. Noise fast. Just like the plane has light on the right side, the clouds will also receive some light here on the right side. So just here and there, add a bit of extra white tone on the sides here, and then voila, we have the sensation that light is hitting these fluffy clouds. And I think I'm very satisfied with this result. You can always work more on it, but sometimes it's just good to say, hey, it's finished, it's good. And then, yeah, we can go ahead and call this finished. Thank you very much for watching along. I hope this inspired you to also maybe draw some planes or a car or anything else really from Studio Ghibli's universe. There are plenty of things to be inspired of. Remember to subscribe and like this video, and until next time, have fun drawing.